introduction, our next speaker is one of another patriot who's chosen to serve us in the House of Representatives here in the state of Colorado. He's from House District 44, which is in the promised land of Douglas County. Chris Holbert, come up and give us a few great words.
God bless America, right? Yeah. It's a beautiful day in Colorado. It's a beautiful day to be American. It's a beautiful day to be free. As Regina mentioned, I'm State Representative Chris Holbert. You can call me Chris. I work so hard at just being me. There was a U.S. Senator that chastised one of our generals to say, "General, call me Senator. I work so hard to get that title," but my title, the representative title, that belongs to about 75,000 people who live in Parker and Lone Tree. It's not mine, it's theirs. And I'm damn privileged to hold it for a short period of time. Many of you, people across the state and the nation, are sending email, letters, calling our offices. I hear the word strongly urge, I plead with you. And I write back, you don't have to urge, you don't have to plead. The Second Amendment exists as our defense against tyranny, and I will not compromise on that issue. I'm proud to be a life member of the Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. Their slogan is, it's a right, not a privilege, and they're the no compromise organization in this state. If you are an NRA member, if you're an RMGO member, Gun Owners of America, National Association of Gun Rights, whatever organization you align with, thank you. But if you're not part of one of those organizations, find one of the petitions that's going around here today. Put your name and email address on there, because those organizations have the ability to do something that you don't, and they can do it well. They can communicate with the 100 members of the General Assembly who work in this building. 99 of my friends and I come in here and decide what laws will and will not be passed in this state. And I'm here to tell you, with me, you don't have to strongly urge. You don't have to plead. I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to vote no on gun control, and I'm going to not compromise on the Second Amendment. Out of the 65 people who are honored, privileged to serve in your state House of Representatives, and the 35 who work down in the Senate, there are many of us who share that view, that the Second Amendment is a right, it's not a privilege, and it's not our place to compromise on your God-given right to self-protection. It's just not our place to do that. I want to introduce you to a friend, Art Carlson. Wave to everybody, Art. Everybody say hi, Art! Hi, Art! Art Carlson has run for the State House and the State Senate, but he didn't get elected. Art Carlson is a friend of mine because I consider him a giant among men. He is not afraid to stand before people and speak the truth. Did God create Art and I equally? Yeah. Would society look at Art and I and say, oh, they're equal? No. Does God see Art Carlson and Chris Holbert as equals? Yeah. What do we have if a person with evil intent came against Art or me? What do we have that is a great equalizer that makes Art and I the same? Guns, the Second Amendment. What do Art and I have, and what do you have if a criminal comes against a single mother of limited means? Does she have the ability to protect herself like we do? She does if she has a gun. But I'm proud to say that I was the first representative in the history of the state of Colorado to pass a bill called constitutional carry through that chamber right there. Constitutional carry calls concealed weapon permits a coat tax. Constitutional carry points out that it's a poll tax because that single mother of limited means may not have the financial ability to participate in the Second Amendment like I can or like Art can. Why do we have to ask government for permission and pay for that permission to come out into public and do nothing wrong? Why? I want to assure you that not everyone who works in this building is inherently against you. That's not true. Constitutional carry passed the State House of Representatives in 2011 by a vote of 40 to 25. That means that 33 Republicans and 7 Democrats said, it's our responsibility to trust you, the people for whom government works, more than it is our responsibility to trust the people who work for government. That's our responsibility, is to represent you, and in a bipartisan way, we passed that bill through the House. In 2012, we passed Make My Day Better. Anybody here know what castle doctrine is? It means that somebody wants to come into your home for your life, the life of someone in your family or your property, that we can use deadly force to protect ourselves in Colorado. And there's no civil or criminal liability for those who act under the castle doctrine in Colorado in your place of residence. Make My Day Better would put that in the workplace. We passed that through the State House of Representatives in 2012 with bipartisan support. I'm not here to tell you that Republicans are with you and Democrats aren't. Both Republicans and Democrats understand that the Second Amendment is a right and not a privilege. So I'm going to wrap up here with some suggestions on how you can advocate in this building more effectively. We're receiving a lot of email, a lot of calls, a lot of letters, and that's good. Last week I received an email that was 1,106 words long. And it told me all the reasons I should vote no on gun control and uphold the Second Amendment. Does anyone here need more assurance that I need more assurance to vote no on gun control? No. Does anyone here need more assurance that I need to uphold the Second Amendment? No. Was that person wrong for scripting this incredibly long and detailed and very well written email about the history of the Second Amendment and guns in our culture? No, he was perfectly right. But there were 4 words that were missing. And I want to encourage you all to ask these 4 powerful words, because the professional advocates that come here to this building, the lobbyists, they know how to ask these 4 words. Anybody here want to know what those 4 words are? Yes. How will you vote? How will you vote? No one asks that question. Do you think I'm afraid to answer that? Ask me that question. No! What did you just do? You just verified. Remember when Reagan said, trust and verify? Well, we're adding a step to that. You just verified. I just promised you that I would not compromise on the Second Amendment and I wouldn't vote for gun regulation. I said no to you. What happens if I vote yes? You're going to give me more free time, right? So ask the question. Verify up front. Trust those who say they're with you, but verify at the end on how we vote. And Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, the other organizations, can help you do that. But you don't have to get to know 100 legislators. That's a lot of work. You have to get to know 2. If you have something to write with, I'm going to give you some instructions, but it's going to be pretty easy. So if you just sort of keep a clear mind, you ought to be able to remember this. How many of you know who your state representative and your state senator are? Not your member of Congress, but the folks who represent you here. That's great. Thanks for putting your hands up. How many of you don't know? It's okay, put your hands up. We're here as a learning experience. I'm going to tell you how to find out. Go home, wherever you're registered to vote, and get a piece of mail. Look on that piece of mail and see if it has your zip code plus 9-digit zip code. Get that piece of mail and then go to a computer and go to a website called Project Vote Smart. Project Vote Smart. Everybody say Vote Smart. Vote Smart. Do you have to remember that website? No. All you have to remember is Vote Smart. Take that piece of mail, go to Project Vote Smart, and enter your 9-digit zip code there. When you click go or search or whatever it says, it's going to come back with a web page that shows you from President Obama all the way down to your county commissioners, but it'll tell you who your state representative and your state senator are. You'll know who those two people are. Two people. You need to go to the General Assembly website now. Everybody say General Assembly.
General Assembly.
This is not Congress. This is not state Congress. Congress is a word that means the 535 people who represent us in the federal legislature, the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. Please don't refer to people here, me or anybody else, as congressman or congresswoman. There's no such thing as state Congress. That's just a little terminology check for you. Representative, senator, assemblyman is okay. It's not very common in Colorado, but this isn't Congress. This is your General Assembly. Get to know those two people. Find out who they are. Go to the General Assembly website and our phone numbers are here. It's easy to contact us. I have one part-time legislative aide. I don't have a big staff like a member of Congress does. You pay me, with the per diem, $35,000 a year to be criticized for everything I do or say. This isn't Congress, and it's easy to reach the people who live in your community and represent you. When you find those two people, your representative and your senator, I want you to contact them and ask those 4 words. How will you vote? If you want to explain why the Second Amendment is important to you, if you want to talk about what a magazine is and what a clip isn't, if you want to explain the difference between semi-automatic, common, everyday weapons that we, the people, have access to, and fully automatic select fire weapons, which we don't unless you have a Form 4 federal license, and those are heavily regulated. And oh, by the way, if you haven't had the conversation already, reassure them that pulling a pin out of an AR-15 doesn't make it a full auto. That's a complex and expensive process, and the fines, if you don't have the proper licensing, would probably be in the 6 figures, and you're probably going to go visit the inside of a federal penitentiary if you don't have permission to do that. Don't do that. But we need to have a conversation about facts. We've got to have a conversation about the difference between fully automatic military-grade weapons and semi-automatic weapons. We've got to have a conversation about what a magazine or clip is, but that's not going to make a difference. What's going to make a difference is you, as constituents, reach out to those two people, your state senator and your state representative, and ask those 4 questions. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here. My friend Dudley Brown, I think, helped me, the executive director at Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, helped me connect with the organization sponsors. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. Back in April of 2009, we had the first Tea Party rally here. Anybody here for that event? Awesome. I wasn't in the chamber, I wasn't elected at that time, but I was starting my campaign. I was here visiting, and we were sitting inside the House chamber, and we heard this roar. And the Democrat lady who was chairing the committee upstairs, she said, close the blinds, close the windows, and roar! And they got frustrated and kept calling the order back, and then we heard roar! And they said, bang the gavel, and they all went to lunch. But then a few of us got to come out on the balcony here, and we looked out, and it was a crowd bigger than here today, but this is, I think, the second largest crowd that I've seen in a Tea Party sort of liberty-oriented movement. So thanks for taking time out of your day to come here. Thanks for taking the time to stand up for the Second Amendment. Please, before we're done here, make sure you give us your name, your email address, or the organizations that are here so we know how to contact you. Listen to what they have to say. When they put out the call to action and say, hey, there's going to be a hearing, there's a bill up, we need you to come in and do that with respect. Come in and make a concise argument, because more is not better. Concise is better. And what are the most powerful 4 words you can ask?
How do you vote?
God bless you. Thanks so much for the time.